Good morning, everyone. This is Todd Brow with Senior Insurance Marketing, and we are excited to have Mike Carley with us today from Oxford Life to talk about the final expense product. It's a very competitive product, and without further ado, I'm just going to swing it over to you, Mike, and fill us more in about the final expense product from Oxford.
Thanks, Todd. I hope that everyone can hear me. I'm trying to play with my microphone a little bit, so things are coming in loud and clear.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, good. All right, thank you for having me. I want to first of all thank Todd and his team over at Senior Insurance Marketing for having us in today. And of course, I want to thank everybody for joining us for this meeting this morning. There's a lot to unpack here, so I guess most people are on mute. If you do have any questions, you have your little Q&A box in there. Todd will be monitoring it, and he'll shoot out questions as it comes along. So I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you guys may have. I'm going to try to limit this to probably about 40 minutes, so we can open up for larger questions in the end if there's any that's out there. Right in front of you, what you're seeing is Oxford Life Insurance website, very easy to get to, oxfordlife.com. And the reason why I brought it up is because I want to be able to come back and join this website a little after we go through some of these product features to show you where you'll be able to find any and all of the information that I'm speaking about here this morning. So I wanted to start off and talk a little bit about Oxford Life, who we are, where we are in the field of final expense. Of course, we do offer other products other than final expense, but we're going to focus mainly today on final expense. So I'm going to lean on a PowerPoint program here. This will allow me to make sure I don't miss any of the talking points. So again, we're going to be talking about the final expense, and we do have them in two flavors, which I will talk about a little bit more. This is sort of what we would consider, at least at Oxford Life, we've been doing this for many years. Final expense is something that we've been very excited about, and it just seems to be growing in volume year after year as the population ages and starts taking stock in their life insurance needs. So this is sort of what we would call sort of like our flagship type of product that's out there. I'll talk a little bit about the regional directors. This is Chad Canese. He recently left us, but I wanted to show you the states that he represented. And once this whole COVID pandemic has passed, we'll fill in Chad's position as well. In the meantime, you do have Dan Winders. He's our Western Regional Director. That's the states that he represents. That is his contact information as well. And when we go back into the website, I'll show you where you'll be able to find this contact information if you have any questions. And of course, this is yours truly. I'm the Central Regional Representative, but don't get too caught up in any of the states. Who's ever available will be able to help you. Dan and I have split up to take responsibility for the Eastern region while we're looking for a replacement for Chad. So we cover most of the United States. There are really only 4 states in which we don't do business in. So I apologize if you're tuning in from these states, but they're Alabama, New York, West Virginia, and Mississippi. Unfortunately, we do not offer product in those states. So I apologize if you took your time to tune in and those states aren't available to you at this point in time. So why Oxford Life? We are an A- excellent rated AM best strength. We were recently upgraded to a positive outlook, so we're moving in the right direction here. Even with the pandemic and everything, we're still in an upgraded position, hopefully moving into an A-rated real soon, but we are excellent so far as it comes to AM best. We sort of focus on the senior life business. We do have a couple of lines. We have our life insurance, which encompasses our final expense, as well as a single premium life product that's very popular out there. We delve into annuities, which is your guaranteed MIGA annuities, as well as some fixed equity index that are very competitive out there. And we do Medicare supplement, not as a broad range of state availability, but we're trying to get in there as well. The nice thing is, once you contract with Oxford Life, you have access to all of these products. So let's say you love the final expense, you're out selling the final expense, and then you come into a situation where you might trip into an annuity scenario. You do have accesses. There's no other contracting or anything that you need to do. Again, we're focused on the senior market. We've been in Arizona domicile since 1965, and we're still remaining in there. And I'll talk a little bit more. The next slide is a little bit more interesting, a bit of a fun slide for us and the agents. It gives you some more background about Oxford Life. This one slipped in. This is our assets ending in the year 2017. Right now, we're sitting just shy of $3 billion in assets. So we're growing. Not only is our AM Best rating growing, but our assets are growing with it as well. So I'll try to get this one upgraded at some point in time. This is the slide I was talking about. This is the corporate structure of where Oxford Life lies in. We are part of an umbrella organization called Amerco. That's AMERCO. It sounds an awful lot like a competitive insurance company that's out there, but we're no way affiliated with them. But if you look on the left-hand side, you'll have Oxford Life Insurance Company. You'll have North American that's under there, not the larger North American. They're mostly a final expense administrative team that's over there. And Christian Fidelity Life Insurance is a final expense. We do a lot of final expense through Christian Fidelity as well. So you'll see there's a number of insurance companies that are on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, you'll notice a company called U-Haul. That is the moving and storage company. We've been affiliated with them pretty much from day one. They've been a great asset for us as well. In a couple of senses, we do a lot of shared resources. So we share our human resources, we share our legal with them, all that sort of stuff. And in fact, if you ordered supplies from Oxford Life, it will show up in a U-Haul box. I get calls every now and then because people don't know why they're getting Oxford supplies and U-Haul. That's the sister sort of relationship we have with them. In fact, I joke, I said, well, you know, if someone gets your supplies mixed up in most carriers, you're just going to get the wrong apps. With us, you might end up with a trailer hitch. So it's a really nice organization that we belong to. Not everybody knows who Oxford Life is. Everybody knows who U-Haul is. It really gives us the brick and mortar feel. That we are part of a larger international organization. It makes people feel comfortable about doing business with Oxford Life through their agents. So that is a little bit of background that you guys can use out into the field. If someone says, who is Oxford Life? Hey man, you heard of Oxford? Or you heard of U-Haul? Yeah, well, you know Oxford as well. They're pretty much under the same umbrella company. So again, why Oxford? We got the financial strength. We got the unique and competitive products. We're going to talk about a couple of them in the final expense field realm today. Our commissions are on par, if not top in the industry for what we have available that's out there. We're going to talk a little bit more about our InstaRight application, which is a true decision process, immediate decision process. And I think the fifth bullet point, I think we got to prove more than anything else. We tend to believe we do have superior customer service. That's the feedback that we get from agents and policyholders. If you haven't written with Oxford Life and had an opportunity to be able to go through our customer service, then sign up. You'll be more than surprised. Our agent service representatives are top tier that's out there in the industry. And of course, on our website, we got training videos, webinars. I've already introduced you to the regionals out there. Don't ever hesitate to give us a call as well. So let's begin by talking about the assurance. The assurance product is the old school pay-as-you-go final expense. You know, it's a monthly, it's a semi-annually, annually sort of pay as you go along. This is the one that we're most excited about. This would be our top seller when it comes to the final expense realm that's out there. And I'll talk a little bit about that, but I would just sort of knock each other over the head with some of these facts that's put in front of us. And this is why that we're most excited about the final expense. The baby boomers started turning 65 in 2011. That's not new news. But when you look at stuff such as 1 out of 5 Americans, or 72 million people, will be 65 years or older by 2030, that is a huge statistic right there. And if you look at the final one, I think the most surprising is the final bullet point. 45% of the seniors age 65 or over are not covered by life insurance of any kind. And that's surprising, but in some sense, it's really not. Now, we're talking about any life insurance. We're talking about term, final expense, you know, any permanent insurance. They come out of the workforce, they retire, they're used to having their employers cover their health insurance and their life insurance needs, and all of a sudden they're stepping out into the realm. They don't know where to find it. Fully of this 45%, 65% state that they need immediate coverage. So there is a huge, vast demographic out there that have no insurance and are looking for this. So bear that in mind as you're out into the field. The people that you're talking to, if you're talking about annuities, if you're talking about anything else, chances are they do not have any form of life insurance, and they're looking for someone to be able to walk them through it because they've never had to look for it really, other than checking a box annually at their employer's open house. Let me see if I can't bring this back. So let's talk a little bit about the cost of a funeral. In 2012, the average cost of a funeral was $8,343. But by 2030, just assuming a 3% inflation rate, that's going to go north of $14,000. And there's really only a couple of ways that you can pay for this. You either self-insure and write a check, or you get insurance. I guess there's a third option we see that's popular these days, and these are the GoFundMes. You know, grandma dies, no one has any money, and so they put a GoFundMe out there, but no one really wants to do that. If you look at Social Security, if you're qualified for it, you get a one-time lump sum of $255. Veterans, they'll give you a measly $300 again if you qualify for it. So really, there is a full lack of insurance out there for people who are looking for final expense. Because when we look at overall, what's this $14,000 cover in 2030? It's simple things: your plot, casket, urn, couple of flowers, a viewers for a wake, stuff like that. But that's stuff that we can sort of get our arms around right now. You can sit down with your client. In fact, we have a memorial planning guide on our website, and I'll show you where that is, that you can go down through all these and they can do the cost factors. They can call the cemetery. What is a plot? How much is a tombstone? You know, flowers are this. But what about the things that people don't see coming? What about the what ifs? These are possible additional final expenses that people have to be aware of. They got unpaid med bills. They're going to have ambulance costs, nursing home bills, physician fees. All this stuff sort of adds up that they can't really sort of, you know, they can virtually sort of figure it out, but they really have no idea what it is. These can really bury a family in a time of grieving where they don't have the finances to be able to cover the costs of not just a funeral, but all the ancillaries that no one sees coming until the bills arrive. So this is why we're excited about this. We do have two, like I said, flavors. We talked about assurance. That's a level premium. That's a product that you would pay, you know, on a monthly, quarterly, annually basis, and it covers the costs of the expenses. The second one is called Assurance One. This is a single premium product. Now, people call me all the time and say, well, I'm having hard enough time getting Sally to pay the $67 a month. How the heck is she going to come up with a couple of $1,000 just for the Assurance One? And it's very simple. If you're looking for it, you'll notice a note there that says it's great for 1035s from current final expense policies. There's a lot of them out there. People have been paying final expense for years. They either don't want to pay it anymore or they can't afford it anymore. And the only choice that they have then is to let it lapse or find a solution such as Assurance One, where you can 1035 that into the single premium. It's one and done. The second place you're going to be able to find this type of Assurance One working are the old ULs. There's a lot of them out there. These vanishing premium ULs that were sold back in the 70s and 80s, you know, that people were told that, you know, the cash value and the interest rates are going to cover and charge for themselves in the end. And then what happens? It never did. It never became vanishing. In fact, what happened is the rates actually increased. So the client has two choices. They either keep paying higher premium rates to keep it in force, or they allow the premium, the lack of the premium amount that they have to start eating away at their cash value within these policies until they blow up. This is a way to be able to save those policies that these people have been paying in for years. And we get a lot of business that way. So don't be afraid to ask people if they have OULs that are out there, final expense policies that, you know, they're getting tired of paying on. The Assurance One is a go-to solution for that type of problem that your client may be having. This here, I'm going to walk through this one pretty quick. This here is a little fact finder. You see the 8, 9-page fact finders that are out there. And it just gets confusing. It scares the people to death. They don't want to go any further with it. But this is just a one-pager, and this is one of our biggest downloads on our website right now. And I'll give you just sort of like a brief example on how it works. You're sitting down with the husband and the wife. And let's assume the husband is Tom, and Tom was working at the telephone company, and now he's retired. He gets a monthly Social Security retirement of $2,350. They also gave him a life-only pension benefit amount of $1,500. Wife worked, Sally worked, you know, doing the same thing. She's got her Social Security and probably a small little pension coming in there as well. So they're living pretty high on the hog, $5,725 for a couple of retired people. That is a really good income to be living off of. But what most people don't understand is that once the death of one of the Social Security recipients occurs, the lesser of the two Social Security payments stop. And we'll just put this in perspective. Let's say Sally woke up one day and Tom didn't, right? What happens? Immediately, her Social Security ends. She's the lesser of the amount. But also, his life-only pension ends as well. So within 24 hours, they've gone from $5,700 to $2,775. So if we look at it overall, this is what she's going to be receiving is $2,950. And a lot of people, they say, you know, they'll argue, they'll say, yeah, but things have gone down. She's only feeding for one person. She's only got like one car now. She's got to put gas in and maintain. So life actually gets cheaper. In fact, studies have shown that the complete opposite happens. So let's assume Tom, like most husbands, he was the guy who was the fix-it man around the house. He was shoveling the snow in the winter, mowing the lawn in the summer, fixing the doorknobs, changing the light bulbs, you know, the leaky toilets. He's not doing that anymore. Sally has to now hire somebody to come in and mow the lawn, shovel the driveway, fix the fuses, all that sort of stuff, and it adds up. Studies have also shown that widows or widowers are most likely to be eating out. They don't want to eat alone. They don't want to cook for one. So they eat out more often, which really adds up. This type of thing really sort of opens the eyes to somebody who, you know, they're thinking about getting into final expense. They think they might be able to live off of one income. But when you run down through some of these fact finders, in fact, the first thing they'll tell you is they didn't know that they'll lose Social Security. They thought they would just sort of take over the husband or the wife, but that's not the case at all. So use this fact finder. What a lot of people do is they'll laminate it, to bring it over to Kinko's or Office Depot. They'll have it laminated, get one of those dry erase markers, and they'll fill it out. Just give them a fact find, take a picture of it, move on to the next appointment. So don't forget that this exists out here for you as well. So we talk about pricing wise. We are a low cost provider when it comes to final expense. That doesn't mean we're a low quality provider. Our benefits are up there with the best of the best, but we are a low cost provider. We've streamlined. We've talked a lot about the U-Haul relationship. We don't have to put money into, you know, human resources and legal and all that sort of stuff. So we can really focus on the products and getting the prices down as low as possible. And if you're looking at this, this is a female tobacco, $10,000 monthly premiums. We're in blue, the rest is in white. Of some of the leading competitors that are out there. And if you notice, if we're not number one, we're not number two by too far. Maybe a dollar, maybe some change, but very rarely do we fall in third or fourth or anything like that. We're always number one. And if we fall into number two, very competitive on our pricing. That is the female. This one here is the male. Now, you know, people talk about, but, you know, it's not only sometimes about price, it's about me, the service that I provide, all that sort of stuff. And we get it. We fully understand it. But the old adage goes is, you know, it's not the business that you write, it's the business that you keep. And we have decades of I guess, data that shows that the business that goes into Oxford Life tends to stay there a lot longer. You're not going to have a guy who's going to show up 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months later and write a new policy and replace an Oxford policy over $3 or $4. And trust me, it happens. You know, these people that are on pensions and Social Security, $3 or $4, is a lot to them at the end of the day, and they will replace the policies. So very competitive in this sense. Don't mind showing you where we win and where we lose. As you'll notice that very competitive across the board. We're showing ages 55 to 80, but we do write between ages 50 to 85. Just wanted to give you a quick snapshot on that. One of the other things that's really going to help you with your persistency, we implemented this a few years ago, a number of years ago. In fact, there's a couple now that final expense carriers that are doing this as well, but we really sort of paved the way for this to happen. And this is Social Security payment effective dates, all right? And it's 2018, but it all sort of works the same way. We actually chase Social Security effective dates. You know, we've seen people in the past say, well, I want it on my Social Security. It's the second Wednesday in August. Okay, that's fine. That's the 8th. So they'll write the policy for the 8th, but then it comes out on the 8th of September because it's a 30-day thing, right? They just go after the 8th, the 8th, the 8th. What we do is we'll actually chase it. So if you're looking at August, we'll put the policy in for the draft on the 8th. Then we chase in September for the 12th, October the 10th, November the 14th. We actually chase those policies. We pull them out the day. As long as the Social Security payment is good, then the payment is made. Helps huge on persistency rates and making sure that you guys get your trailing commission out there as well. Very easy on your application. You just write, I want Social Security date. When do you want it? Second, third, or fourth Wednesday of the month, and we do it. In fact, with this program, we will look out for a draft date out so far as 45 days. Regular payments, 30 days. We will go so far as 45 days just so we can catch up to the first Social Security draft date. So keep that one in mind as well. Clients love it, agents love it. Let's talk about a few of these other riders that come with it. These riders come standard with the policies themselves. There's no additional charges for these. There's no additional underwriting for these things as well. With the advanced death benefit, you get 100% of the death benefit at no available cost. You can see that if you're diagnosed by a physician to have a terminal illness and you're going to perish within 12 months, you have full access to the death benefit that's available to you. The accidental death benefit or the common carrier rider, you're riding in a plane, train, Uber, taxi, any sort of thing like that, and there is a death, then you will be receiving double the death benefit. 10 becomes 20, 20 becomes 40, 40 becomes 80, as you can see. Well, 30 becomes 60 because we only write it up to 30,000 on this particular product. So just a couple of fine points on that. It is a level premium death benefit. We issue age 50 through 85. We really only go two routes with this. This is a black and white product, all right? We rate for males and females, standard and preferred. Standard is tobacco, which really means nicotine, right? So we look at any nicotine, chewing tobacco, vaping, you know, obviously smoking cigars or cigarettes as nicotine use. We do no banding in this, all right? So there's no modified, there's no like you're gonna be getting this death benefit after 2 years. There's no we're gonna send it in, you know, and see if it sticks and they come back with, you know, a different table level or anything. You will receive, your client will receive the death benefit for the premium that you have offered and showed them and agreed upon the second that they are approved for this. And I'll show you how easy that is now in a second. Of course, annual, semi-annual, quarterly, and monthly payment modes are available in the insurance product. If you are going to be doing monthly payments, we would like to have some form of EFT, bank draft, savings, something like that. But if they're going to be doing annual, semi-annual, they can certainly send in a check or a money order to cover those coverages. But monthly modes have to be under an EFT. Issue amounts are from $5,000 to $30,000. It will build some cash value that you can access if there's any emergency comes up. And I did mention it's a level death premium benefit and premium. Premiums never increase. The death benefit never decreases, and it's day one. We're going to talk a little bit about the e-apps that are available out there. Super popular, allows you to do things real quick, and I'll run through the process now here in a second. A little bit more about how we conduct our business. We have a 48-hour policy issue, which means you go out, you get yourself contracted, you write one on a Monday, you send it in, and assume it's all good order. Wednesday, we send that policy out either to you or your client, however you want to have it sent it out. We do daily commissions with payments through EFT, paid on issue. Okay, so we talked about the 45-day out Social Security. If you did one of them, you do it on a Monday, it issues on a Wednesday. You're not waiting 45 days for it to be paid. You're paid the day the policy is issued. And so it's dropped on Wednesday night. You check your bank account, and you've been paid on that particular policy. We do have mobile apps. We have what's called the Oxford Mobile Office. You can do everything right off on your smartphone. You can do the application process. You can do the health assessment process. That's right on there as well. You can fax in your completed application. You can download the applications. You can email the applications. And there's a number of different ways that you can get into it. And I also mentioned the memorial planning guides. They're on our sites. You can order them. Very useful. To be able to go through what we talked about with the cost of headstones, cemeteries, sort of get people sort of opening their eyes about the actual cost of dying, really. That's a couple of the bullet points on how we conduct our business. So a little shot about the Assurance One product. We talked about it mostly on how it would work out there. This particular one, we go through age 55 to 80. The first one, the pay-as-you-go is 50 through 85. This one here is 55 through 80. It's the exact same underwriting process, though. All right, there's no other questions that are involved. There's no other health assessment or medical or MIB or anything attached to this one here. It's the exact same way for underwriting as it is on the Assurance One product. Maximum issue amount, that's the face value. That's $5,000. So depending on the age of the client, I mean, you could buy a $5,000 minimum issue amount for about as low as $2,200, $2,300, one and done. Max out at 30,000, just like the other one. And the same with it bills cash values. It is a level death benefit, so that never changes as well. So don't forget about the Assurance One product. There are people, believe it or not, that can write a check for this stuff too as well. They're not all. We see a lot of just cash with apps that come in. They just want to get it one and done, and they can get themselves a very good level death benefit for a minimum amount of money. So I want to talk a little bit about the InstaWrite. This is our health assessment. This is really sort of taking us to the next level. We did this about 2 years ago. We expected some of our sales to increase on it. It blew up. Agents absolutely love this. This is a point of sale decision process that is available at 24/7. All right. It generates a qualified or non-qualified. So essentially, it is part of an e-app process. You can do the e-app if you want, or you can do a paper app if you want. And then you can go into either your Oxford mobile office, or you can go into the website itself. Once you're contracted, you have access to your agent portal, and you can go in and you can fill out the InstaWrite process. It's very simple. It asks for name, social security number, height, weight, address, and if they use tobacco/nicotine. You push submit on that, and I've seen them come back as quick as 7 or 8 seconds, that you get a qualified or non-qualified. So essentially, from the time that you go in and you see your client, you provide them with a quote, they like it, and to finishing up the application, shaking hands, knowing that they're fully done, usually only takes about 10 minutes. And I'll show you the process on how it works. If you don't want to use a telephone, then you use this InstaWrite program. But if you want to use a telephone, there's a choice on that one as well. So here's the process. The first process is pre-qualify your prospect by asking the health questions on the application, either through the e-app or through the paper application. It's essentially ask for health or height and weight, and then there's 13 questions after that. Most of them have to do with 24-month look backs when it comes to cancer, heart conditions, all that sort of stuff. We do get very good feedback on diabetes as well. I'll show you where to get the application so you can take a look at it. We're assuming that the client answers no to all those questions. Okay, so height and weight comes in good. There's a chart there I'll show you where to find. Then with the health questions, that is pretty much your underwriting. We don't have an underwriting guide. Your underwriting guide is going to be your application. Assuming you get through that, through the application, answering no to all those health questions, then you move on to step 2, which is the health assessment. The health assessment, as you can see, can be conducted one of 2 ways. You can call in, the phone number is right there. You call in, it's also on top of the top page of the application itself. They ask the exact same questions as you would fill out on the InstaWrite. Height, weight, name, address, social security number, and whether they use nicotine. No other questions. They don't drill down. They just fill out what you provide them. It's the same as the InstaWrite. They come back to you. I think this process is a couple of more minutes longer because you're dealing with a real person. They then pass the phone back to you, and then they provide you with an instant decision right then and there, whether it's approved or declined. And as you can see, the last box, you're shaking hands. You're done. They're done. You send in the application through the various ways I told you, and the policy is issued, assuming that it's in good order, within 48 hours, and it's being delivered to the client at the price and the benefits that you had agreed upon 2 days earlier. Nothing will change. So here's how you'd run the health assessment through the InstaWrite, and I'll show you that online here in a second. And it's available 24/7. We actually had people writing final expense policies on Christmas Day. I don't know if they were selling it or aunt over turkey dinner or not, but this is available to you 24/7, 365. The telephone interview, I believe, is from 8 to 5 Central Time. So if you're working after hours or if you're working on the weekends, then the telephone interview wouldn't be access to you. But you definitely use the InstaWrite 24/7. It doesn't slow anything down. Instant point of sale decision at any given point in time into the day. This is your phone. You dial the phone number. They ask you the exact same questions. They ask the client for authorization. All we do is a drug check. We just do a prescription check. We don't get involved in MIB or any sort of thing like that, right? So the 14 questions on the application, and all we do is a prescription drug pull, and it's all rated, and the decision process then is done immediately for you with a qualified or non-qualified result. These are the numbers that you can use to call in. That's our InstaWrite process. Our sales support process, phone numbers there as well, with the number, the times that you're able to call in there at Central Standard Time. And of course, you have us, the regional directors. We are on all social media. We update that all the time. Our marketing team is in love with this sort of stuff. Our Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Find us on social media, and any updates that we have, any sales ideas that we have, any promotions that we have, you guys will be the first to be able to know it. So jump in and find us on any social media platforms that are your favorite. I guarantee you that we're there, and we update very often. Again, there's Chad, there's his region, but keep in mind Dan Winders and me as well. Now, I wanted to, how are we doing on time, Todd?
We're doing great, doing great.
Okay. So I wanted to go back into the website because this is very important. I get a lot of calls all the time, and people are like, well, can you run me a quote? Can you send me a brochure to take a closer look at it and all that sort of stuff? What we're going to do here is we're on the public site. There's no industry secrets that we're hiding from anybody. And you'll see you can see a little bit more about Oxford Life products. And then here's the agents tab. And if you push the agents, you'll see agents and agents tools. I'm going to open up the agents aspect of it. You're going to see 5 brown boxes here. All right. There's agent forms, your calculators, current rates if you were interested in looking at the annuities that are out there. Our state approval chart is out there, but we know we're everywhere except for Alabama, New York, West Virginia, and Mississippi. So, but let's look at like the agent forms to start with. So this is where you're going to find me, and you're going to find Dan if you have any other questions, if you need anything. We'll come up here and we'll select a company. Let's say we're going to write the Assurance pay-as-you-go product, and let's say we want to write it in Arizona. So we click on that, and immediately Every required form is going to come up in bold on this. And you'll see up here, you'll see where it says create packet. You can scroll down through all this. Let's say you need a replacement form. You can add a replacement form to it, you know, and you can scroll down. There's our memorial planning guide is right here if you wanted to download one. You do have the option to be able to order these once you're contracted as well. You do have like your maximum weight chart if you wanted to take one with you, and make sure it fits into the proximity of the application itself. Quick guides are there, brochures are there. Again, there's a memorial planning guide in Spanish. So all of your forms that you would need here and all your marketing materials is found in here. You can create packets, so you can download it, print it, email it off to your client if they wanted to take a look at it. You just wanted to download a memorial guide and a brochure, you can ship that off to them via email if you wanted to as well. So we'll scroll back up and we'll take a look at the calculators. And all of our calculators are in here. And again, we're on the public site. We're not logged into anything. So people who are, you agents that are not currently contracted with Oxford, you got full access, exactly how I'm doing it here, to go in and look at everything. We do have our multi-year guarantee calculators, guaranteed lifetime withdrawal benefit calculators, and there's our final expense calculator. Very easy to fill out. You put in your client's name, date of birth, the effective date that you want the coverage to come in, and you can do it either under a coverage amount. So basically, if they said, well, I'm going to give you $5,000, what's that going to buy me? Or you can do it by premium amount. I want $10,000 worth of coverage. What's that going to cost me? So you can do the calculations by that way. So I'm going to see if I can't sneak into so I'm going to go back into agents. This is where you're ultimately going to log in, all right? So when you're contracted, you're going to log in, and I'll show you what the site looks like. It's going to let me in. This is what your agent portal is going to look like. So these are all the call centers in there. It's telling you the approximate hold times. If you got to get a call in there as well, you can get up in here and look at your documents, which is your commission schedules, any correspondence, any sort of thing that you need from there. My Tools is your fax if you're going to There's your e-app for insurance. There's also a Firelight for our annuities. Forms list if you're looking for them. Down here is your InstaWrite. So we'll just open up the InstaWrite and I'll show you how easy that is. And remember now, this is 24/7. So these are the products we do InstaWrite. There's the Assurance, there's the Assurance One. Our Prosperity Select is a single premium whole life product. Maybe Todd will have me come back another day to talk about that. But let's just sort of open up the Assurance. So this is what it'll all be asked for. So it'll be Oxford Life, right? And then all of these red X's have to be filled out. Again, just name, address, social security, birth date, and there's your height and weight chart. And then it asks you if you used in the last 24 months any nicotine products. Down below here is agree to terms. So you read all this to them as well. You'll notice there is an addendum now for the COVID-19 that you can read. It's just make sure that they're all clear on the COVID health questions on that, which we don't run into haven't run into a problem yet, to tell you the truth. And then you see the green button here is request assessment. You click that request assessment, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, bang, the answer is back to you. All right, by then though, you have completed the application. You've gone through all the health questions. You got no and all that sort of stuff. We are north of 90% if you get through those health questions when we do this health assessment program. All right, so unless there's something that they forgot about or there's something in their medicine cabinet that they failed to tell you about, this is only a script pull, right? So you do it this way, it's 24/7 through there. So that is a quick walkthrough of the processes themselves. Very simple, very competitive products, very difficult to find cheaper prices out there for the benefits that you're going to get. You have all of the tools for you when you get into your agent portal here that I just showed you. You can follow your business, you can check on your commissions, any sort of outstanding requirements we email to you. You don't have to actually go into your agent portal on a daily basis to check to see if there's any outstanding requirements on business you write. We actually email you on a daily basis to remind you if there's any sort of things that are missing. But with that right now, I'll open this up for any questions. Has anything come through, Todd?
No, not yet, but if anyone has any questions, feel free to put it in the chat box and we'll be happy to answer your questions. And again, always give us a call here at Senior Insurance Marketing. Our phone number is 877-800-3080, and we'd be happy to get you contracted with Oxford if you haven't, if you're not contracted with Oxford. But if you are, happy to help you out with a quote or, with supplies or any questions you might have. Always give us a call. We're here to help you out. I don't see any questions here in the chat box here, Mike.
Okay.
But I appreciate everyone joining today, and also, Mike, I really appreciate you talking to us about how easy it is to write with Oxford, and also the product is easy as well too. So easy, and now since we're in the new normal, I call it, for virtual meetings with clients and remote application process, Oxford is a company to put in your toolbox to use for final expense.
Now, just with a caveat on that, though, Todd,
Sure.
if it's brought up, we require face-to-face meetings at some point. All right.
Okay.
We don't do full telesales. We were sort of caught off guard with it. It would have completely affected our pricing.
Okay.
That we would, so to try to steer that boat in a different direction halfway through a pandemic, we decided we would just steer the course. So anyone who's thinking about writing this, there's still a face-to-face requirement that's involved into it. But
Okay.
speaking with agents the past week, things have been opening up. Clients are more at ease of letting them at least on the porch or into their home to write this business. So we've seen an uptick in business in areas that sort of took a downturn as the panic was growing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's good to know on that. So I don't see any questions in the chat field there. So again, thanks for joining us today. Really appreciate it. And Mike, thanks for talking to us about Oxford Final Expense Products. It's a great product.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, everyone. Take care. Have a great day.